Well, it's Memorial Day here in the United States, and I woke up this morning grieving all of the people who are dying and who are sick, and all of the people who have lost their lives and had their lives ruined if they didn't get killed for so many years. And just what a huge contribution everybody makes to life all the time. And I'm going into my 12th week of staying at home. I'm filled up with gratitude for all the people who've given their lives and their health for me to be able to live here and to be relatively safe or safer than most people in the world. And I want to help the people who are sharing their resources with June and I. You know, people call up and they say, I'm going to the store. Do you need anything? What do you want? Or, and making sure we're okay. And even providing us with supplements to help us keep going. And we're just really fortunate. And I was really sad to notice, my friend Joshua was telling me a long time ago that a lot of people are getting sick because their racial metabolism puts them at risk. They don't process stuff like other races do, and also these people who don't have white skin are dying more than people with white skin. And I was talked to a lot of people, and they've all said things like, well, those are the folks that have the jobs that they have to go to work, working at food places, restaurants, stores, doing work, helping people with their gardening, and also those people, because they don't have a lot of money, and because they so often live in with a lot of people in the house. And when I was a school principal, I worked a lot in housing projects, and I saw how people who don't have any money, they get into smaller and smaller quarters, so they don't have access to space and distancing and all that kind of stuff, and can't afford masks, can't afford to take the time off work, or even, I remember people didn't even have bus fare to go to health appointments. And now, most people, if they've got health care, if they don't have a lot of money, then they have a very high copay. And so there's this huge inequity, and masks cost money and gloves cost money. And now the call is going out for those plastic face shields. And they cost money. And so there's a real imbalance happening just based on economic disparity. But the happy thing is that I've realized that the virus is certainly killing so many people, but a lot of those people are getting what they wanted. They get to, their spirits get to experience freedom from pain and suffering, and their spirits get to experience meeting their spiritual guides and their ancestors. And I believe that some people call it the rapture. But it's true in all religions, I think, that there's some people and well, they're dying, and before they die, they don't realize it. But there's a lot of people that are realizing there is an afterlife. Um, and then there's a whole lot of people that are getting sick because they don't wear masks and don't wear gloves, and they don't protect themselves and they don't protect other people. And I heard recently that a church that disobeyed the law here in California, um, they opened and they had a religious service, and they said, nobody can tell us what to do. Um, and then a huge number of the people who were at the service got the virus. And so I thought, well, I guess it's a very hard way for the whole world to wake up. High price to pay. And I've been talking to people I'm very interested in talking to people who've had the virus, and I'd be interested in any communication with you. And videos would be good because it's the easiest for me. And so the whole thing about what'd you do to get through? Like what supported you? And I've heard people give really good advice. And I if one person tells me, that's great. But if 6 people tell me, then I'm listening up. And they've said things like, well, I knew I had to keep moving. My dog forced me to take the dog out for a walk. I had to fight to stay calm. I calmed myself down all the time. I took special care, and I learned how to breathe, lying on my side or on my belly. And another one that really got me was people said, and a lot of people said this, that at a certain point they were missing the being able to do what they could do when they were healthy. And then they started saying things like, wouldn't it be nice if I got to be healthy again? And they'd go into the future and they'd think about being healthy. And they said that they some of them, 3 or 4 of them, have said that really helped them. And one of them, well, I mean, they've all, but I think we should be listening to the stories of the survivors, not the experts and stuff like that. Like, what pulled you through? And a big thing was that friends and neighbors would leave food at their door because they knew they were too sick to make their own food or to make good food. And I have a friend in Peru who I talk to regularly, and the government there have really locked down the whole country, and he can't get to a store that has good food. So he can walk to a store a couple of days a week, and the only food that he's been able to get is rice and potatoes and carrots and the odd egg. And if he's caught being in somewhere that he's not supposed to be in, he lives near the ocean, and he's not allowed to go to the ocean. And if the authorities catch him, they put him in jail in close proximity to other people. And he's a smart guy. He's a doctor, and so he's really suffering, and it's really hard to call him up on the media things and say, hey, how you doing? And then, boy, you just sit there, and he knows that it's important for him not to pretend that he's okay. He's not ashamed of suffering. And he knows that when we talk about suffering and whine and, cry and all that kind of stuff, that doesn't mean they're weak. Actually, that would, to me, and to a lot of people, that means you're strong when you're not ashamed of your suffering. And that helps us not get angry at people who are suffering. So I hope that everybody wakes up, and that we can wake up and not without getting the virus. And if we do get the virus, I hope that we can stay alive and wake up and wake up to the fact that we need each other, and that we can't be selfish, and we can't be greedy, and we can't be phony, um, and we can be empathetic. We can say, "Hey, I'm really sad you're having a rough time," and we can see the hope and say, "But hey, I know you're strong. You've been strong before. You can be strong in this one. You'll get through it. Stay calm. Carry on." We can encourage one another, and I haven't got the virus yet. I could get it. June and I have been talking about what we'll do if we get the virus, if we both get it at once, if one of us gets it, if one of us dies. And oh my God, that was painful. It was really painful to think about life without June. And it was painful for her to think about life without me. And and we said, okay, that's good. That's good to feel it. What kind of support do you want while you're grieving? And the grieving could take years. So it's that kind of stuff. That's what I'm doing. And I'm having the best spiritual time of my life, because I'm suffering and I'm sad, and then I get happy, and I'm happy I see the trees, and I'm lucky because I live out in nature. You know, all that is God, great creator, angels, luck, whatever you'd call it. I live in a really safe place, and I'm happy. And I was sad to hear that people who don't believe you should wear masks, and people who aren't being careful to protect themselves and to protect other people, if they're one of these people who carry the virus but don't get sick, that they're saying, oh well, I'm going to the beach anyway, or I'm going to go and sit in a river. And so on Memorial Day, I'd been told, I don't know, that the traffic is heavy, that a lot of people are disobeying the law and putting themselves at risk, and their families and their children and other people. And I'm sad, and I hope they don't get sick. But boy, if they do get sick, I hope they have epiphanies like, oh my God, I was wrong. And then they're not ashamed to say that, oh, I made a mistake. It's called redemption. And it's something we're not very good at redemption. If somebody did something bad when they were 19, okay, now they're 50, but look at all the good that they've done in their lives, and they don't do that crap anymore. So that's this morning's thing, and this is my little ceremony. This is all the instruments for this little orchestra, and I play these instruments every morning. And I read spiritual quotations by Mohammed and Jesus and Buddha and Sai Baba and people like Thomas Merton, who was a priest. And today's thing was the quotation ran something like this: that rats love fried rice so much that they will enter a box to get it, but the box is a trap. And that mankind is the same way, that we love sensations, and we love glitter, and we like excitement, and we like intensity and everything. And when we do that, we get trapped, and we lose our spiritual energy. We lose our connection with life. And I'm trying to figure out what are all the ways that I know that can build spiritual energy. I'm sorry that I wasn't looking at the screen. I was drawing energy from looking at the trees and remembering other trees that have been important in my life. And I get a lot of spiritual energy from just finding something I like. I like to look at, I like to smell, I like to think about places I've been that I really, really liked. And I noticed that lifts my energy. and helps me smile. And my friend Albert Nuremberg, and you want to check him out on YouTube. And he did a movie called Laughter, and he's helping me with my sense of laughter, which is a very spiritual thing, and it's very healing. I'm noticing big changes in my life. So thank you, all the people who are helping me. Thank you so much. And thank you, all the people who are helping all the people, the frontline workers. And I've talked to a lot of you, and my heart goes out to you, and my gratitude goes out to you. And I hope you get what you need so you can keep going. So please tell your stories, and any way you can, help one another, talk with people. We've got this stranger danger thing too entrenched in us by all the traumas. And I was thinking this morning about I want a T-shirt that says U of T, like they have like Harvard and Yale, and I want either TU or U of T. and it was like, yeah, I've got a couple of PhDs from the U of T or the TU, and that's Trauma University, and that we have traumas. Everybody has them, but can we learn from them, and can we say, okay, how do I want to be, and then to work so that I can live with the trauma. The trauma, what happened, will never go. What happened to me will never go away. And part of me is sad that it happened. I used to be really angry that it happened, that this stuff happened. But now I see I wouldn't have been me. I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be compassionate and self-compassionate and non-judgmental and so dedicated to life. So that's today's little Grandpa Ricky thing, and I'm going out to enjoy tidying up and making things as pretty and neat and beautiful as I can. And so maybe I can live a little bit longer, and when people do get a chance to come and visit, that it will be pleasant for them, and they will get good, and they'll like it, and they'll get good energy from the nature around here, from the sky and the sun and the moon and clouds. So thank you very much. This is a long rant, so keep on. Yeah. How do I shut this thing off?